I rebuke these lizards.
All right now. What's up, everybody?
Really?
Leasha trying to get rid of lizards right now.
I rebuke these lizards.
How's everybody doing? Sorry for being just a tad bit late.
You know I'm scared of lizards, right? You tell the whole world I'm scared of lizards. Look at you.
Oh boy, what's going on? What's going on, everybody?
I light some sage on these lizards.
I like some sage on these lizards. What are you doing?
Oh my god.
We're doing the most this morning. Lord have mercy. Oh boy. What's going on, everybody? We are Twin Flames Unite, back at it again. And if you don't know already, I'm
And
Kris.
I'm Leasha. I got my sage today. I'm so scared of lizards.
Oh boy.
Yesterday I came out here and it was a lizard on the chair, a green lizard.
Yeah, Leasha don't like them lizards.
I don't know. I don't do reptilians.
Oh boy.
I'm so afraid of reptilians. I got the sage. Hopefully they'll stay away. Sage is all my answers. Sage. Sage for everything.
Oh boy. Now,
Okay.
now today is Q&A Wednesday. If you have any questions in pertaining to twin flames, to relationships, spirituality, definitely go ahead and drop your comments in the message. So it'll pop up on the side. You know, we'll see it come up, and we'll go ahead and jump on those questions as soon as they come in. And if you are new to this channel, we definitely ask that you hit that subscribe button, because we would definitely love to have you as a part of the family.
Yep. And don't forget to hit the bell so you'll get notifications when we're doing lives or if we put out a new video.
And definitely give us that thumbs up. You know, thumbs
Yeah,
up.
we're
Give
cool.
us thumbs ups on the video. All right. Now, just to kick things off today, for those of you all who are in the spiritual community, you may have been experiencing some major changes in the past few days.
Major changes.
Yeah,
From
and
body aches to high anxiety.
yes,
These waves that are coming through, don't let it knock you under.
no.
They're intense.
And believe me, we're talking to you, we're talking to ourselves as well.
These
Because
these waves are something serious.
it's a part of the reason why we weren't exactly here at 10 o'clock, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
So, but just to kick into it, if you all have been noticing a shift uh, in the whole atmosphere and your mood, what's going on in the world today, definitely drop a comment. Let us know if you're experiencing that as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let us know
because
your feelings. Like, you guys feeling anxious? You feeling maybe even a little depressed, like moody? Like, what's going on? Let us know. Because we right. Put some sage.
just gotta be real.
I'm
Just gotta be
saging.
real. Yeah, because this for
Oh, wow. Cherub, we are
yeah.
here with you with the anxiety.
Yes, because it hit me like a wave.
Yeah,
Actually, right before this video,
it's a
I had
wave.
to I had to get myself together. I had to come collect my own self.
See, I came in light and sage. It's a wave. You know, you have
Yeah.
to, in order to deal with this wave, you have to stay grounded. And I've been like drawn to do a lot more meditation because
Mhm.
sometimes I skip my meditation. I go through the explore page and not meditate when I'm supposed to. But I've been doing a lot of extra meditation because you have to stay grounded.
Yes. 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 So,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah,
It is intense.
it is. It is truly intense.
Yes, those are
And
some of the ascension symptoms.
hmm and just to let you know, for those who may or may not know what's going on right now, is for the longest of time, a lot of people have been saying about this 3D Earth transcending to the fifth dimension. And I hope I don't sound too crazy for anybody out
It's
there.
okay. It's okay.
Okay, but when you're in the spiritual community, you are connected and you feel these things, and so the aches and the pains that you're feeling Because like for me, for the past week, everything from the waist down, for whatever reason, is like in excruciating pain right now.
Yes.
It is freaking crazy. And there be times when you can feel shifts in your emotions, like they just come out of nowhere. Like,
Yep.
why do I feel so anxious? Why do I feel so sad? I feel super happy now. That's the awesome thing, to feel
Right.
super happy. But when it just comes out of nowhere, you're like, where is this coming from?
It's a wave, and when
You
it
know?
hits you, you have to kind of be aware. Okay, this is the wave, and
Mm-hmm.
it hits. It's everybody is gonna get hit pretty much, whether
Yes.
you woke or sleep. It's it's just that the ones who are of a high awareness,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be equipped to know exactly what it is. So they're
Right.
not just gonna be like getting hit and slapped all over the face, and they don't know
Mm-hmm.
what's going on.
Yeah. And from the intel that we have,
Whew,
um, this is something that's not going to be a fly by night type thing.
right.
You want to strap in, buckle in, and get yourself ready.
Stay grounded, guys. Get you some sage.
Stay grounded, stay meditating, and stay reevaluating the emotions that you are going through.
Yes.
Like, don't just let it push you around like a bully. Just stop for a moment and pause and think, where is this coming from?
Right.
And is this serving me?
Right. If it's not serving you, let it pass on by you. It's like a cloud. You just let it
Mm-hmm.
go by.
Let me take a look at these things that's going on here real quick. Okay. Just wanted to make sure of some stuff. Okay. So for those of you all who are experiencing these major shifts that's going on from 3D transition over to 5D, and who knows how far up it's going to go. So,
Happy baby.
oh, 5D. I'm sorry. See, y'all, this morning was rough for me.
Last night too.
And I'm not even going to go into the dreams that I be
Oh
having.
my
Oh, my.
God.
Yeah.
Who else is having these crazy dreams?
Yeah.
But I know it's not just me.
Yeah, y'all having dreams of going in different realms and kind of like on missions and stuff like
Teleporting, flying. Who else is having these dreams? I
that?
know we're not alone.
No, we're not the only ones. Um, but yeah, but definitely, once again, if y'all have any questions, feel free to drop a message down in so that we can cover some of those things for you. And one of the things that definitely would be a pressing issue is if you are an empath. We know a lot of people that are in the spiritual community, in our Facebook groups, on social media, and all this stuff, that are very empathic, if that's the right word.
highly sensitive. Because I mean, we all empaths. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that some of us are more highly sensitive than others.
Yeah,
So if you're a highly sensitive being, oh, you're gonna feel these waves.
yeah. So it is very, very, very important. Once again, I know I'm repeating myself, to stay grounded.
Stay grounded. Drink lots of water.
Alkaline water if you can.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, 7-day vegan
Oh
challenge.
boy.
Because once again, with these waves of emotions that's coming
With
through,
the food.
and with the food, of course, once again, we know energy is never destroyed, it's only transferred.
Right.
And that energy that is in these meats, chicken, pork, beef, all of that stuff.
It's gonna run right through your body.
Yes. So you want to try to keep out as much emotions that are not yours,
As possible.
so that you know which one is yours and how you can balance everything.
Exactly. And if you can, get you some crystals. See, I would have to go in because I keep this. This is my Lemurian seed quartz, and I used to just have it on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna wrap it and keep it around my neck. So right now I got one. I got my tiger's eye, and I got my obsidian. I am not playing. I have to be safe in these streets.
Yeah.
So, and then I have these earrings that I made, the snowflake, is it the snowflake obsidian?
Mm-hmm.
So listen, my bracelets, I forgot my bracelets today. It's in the room, but I am ready for this
Mm-hmm.
wave, so it could come. Let it hit me.
Yes. Now, one other thing that we wanted to touch on, which is actually something that Leasha is working on,
Oh,
and I wanted to help bring it to light.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
don't
forgot
forget
your
to.
brace. No. Go get your go home, get your bracelets.
And Z, to answer your question, right now, current challenge.
You want to know what's challenging us right now?
Now, do you mean what's challenging for Leasha and I, or challenging in general?
Like individually, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So break that
Because
down a little bit, because individually we have challenges, because I mean the only way you're really not going to have challenges is if you either you dead
okay,
and you went back to unconditional love, or if you're enlightened. And we are on the path, but we're not enlightened as yet, so we do have day-to-day challenges.
yes,
But the way that we deal with our challenges is this is what really made it for us. And if you agree with me, Kris, you could just jump in.
mm-hmm.
Is that the thing, whatever it is that's challenging for us, whether it's financially or whether it's misunderstanding, whatever it is, we take a look at what's causing it. So we dissect the challenges and we
Mm-hmm.
see where is it originated from, where did it come from. And once we are able to find out whatever challenging situation it is, then we just let it kind of like pass through. And
Mm-hmm.
we actually, it's always a lesson in a challenge, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing that makes a difference in our relationship now.
Yeah,
They want an example.
yeah. Well, to give you an example, and actually to be honest, and being transparent, the biggest challenge I would say we have, and at least you can back me up or smack me down if I'm wrong. Uh, the biggest challenge right now is being spiritual in the 3D world,
Oh,
because Leasha and I,
mm-hmm.
just to run down the list real quick, we have kids that we have to take care of.
Yep. They go to regular school.
We have bills that we have to take care of.
The Matrix.
We have our spiritual growth that we have to constantly do.
Yep.
We have our businesses that we run
Yep.
to bring in income so that we can take care of the kids, the bills, and everything
Yep.
else.
That's a challenge.
So the thing with that is that it's always a balancing act.
Yes.
And the balancing act can be very tiresome.
Very challenging.
And that's why it's so important to take care of your mind and take care of your body, because just because you're ascending doesn't mean that you're not still on this 3D earth. And you don't have to interact with everybody that's around you.
Right.
You have to keep that in mind, and also not have such a feeling that you're better than somebody else.
Because you're not.
You know, because we're all equal. We're all on the same path. It's just that some are further along than others. And it's just constantly keeping that in mind.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey.
Fawn and Fire Intuitive.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of keeping that in mind on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
Is understanding that we still have the responsibility to grow our spirits. And we also have to still go through this human experience.
Exactly. Keeping in mind that we are spiritual beings having a human experience and not the other way around.
Right.
And new thing that I'm learning how to do is to take away the judgment, and that alleviates a lot of pressure. Especially, you can in the spiritual community, it could be tempting to see your spiritual growth and look at someone else who is all the way in the matrix and try to judge them. But what I'm learning, Kris and I, we're learning that it's okay, because everybody's here for their own experience. So for their soul plan, maybe they're just here just to be in the matrix. Maybe they're going to get all the experiences from not being so-called woke.
Right.
And so then once you see that, hi, Eleni, how are you doing?
Yeah.
So once you see that somebody else is on their journey and you have the understanding that, hey, that's their experience, then you can now take the judgment away.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've been learning how to do over the past few months, and it's definitely helped.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as perspective.
Yeah. So that's one of the challenges that we go through on a day-to-day basis, and believe me, it never stops.
Somebody say, what do you think will be your future challenges?
Future challenges, and I'm being a prophet here, is finding a way to manage all of the fame that we have, because we've seen this in the future nationally. I'm not even being funny. Leasha and I have both seen this, as far as both of us speaking in front of large crowds, and learning how to deal with fame.
Yeah, and keep the humbleness.
And
Be humble.
yeah, because it's not even the money part. It's just that um, having our lives under a microscope.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's something that we're trying to put things in place now, so that once we get to that point in our lifestyle and things of that nature, so that it's not so much of a burden and it's not so much of a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But that is something that we foresee in the future that we will have to tackle.
But I have the perfect solution. We're gonna buy an island. And we'll just do like this, like in interviews on
Yeah.
the screen. So
Mhm.
all of that that won't even be a factor
Yeah.
because we're gonna buy an island.
Yep.
So that's how we're gonna deal with the future challenge that we're gonna have.
Yeah. Yeah. Because other than that, I mean, when it comes to like relationship stuff, um, thank you so much.
Thank you, Leni.
When it comes to relationship stuff, I wouldn't say that Leasha and I have it down packed, but we're like
we do pretty good.
95%
Yeah,
there.
we do pretty good because I think the difference between, for me, this relationship and my other relationships is that what I mentioned earlier about seeing where the challenge is coming from. Instead of attacking the challenge, which I used to do in the past, I look at it and I dissect it and I look for the lesson.
Hmm.
Like, what is this teaching me? Because we all here to learn something. And whenever a challenge comes up, doesn't matter how big or small the challenge is, look, dissect it and look for patterns within the challenge and see what is it trying to teach me. Is this trying to teach me patience? Is this trying to teach me how to love? What is this teaching me? And then it'll go off and you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. So because of this situation, it's teaching me how to have more patience, and then
Yes.
you can have a new perspective and a new appreciation for the challenge instead of trying to fight the challenge. And that's what I used to do before. I used to try to fight the challenge and blame everybody. Oh, you're making me mad. You're making me sad.
Hmm.
So you look at it and you look at it with appreciation because now you have a new perspective.
Yes. And Z, in response to your comment, um, that's actually true. And when you actually connect with your real, true, just swipe up, baby.
Sorry.
When you actually connect with your real twin flame, they enhance that so much. And then when you actually, even better than that, like you said, partner, okay? When you connect with a partner that is helping you to grow mentally, physically, and spiritually, then those challenges are easier to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those of you all who don't have a partner with you, um, it,
Physically.
well, physically, yeah, physically, I understand that it's challenging, and sometimes a lot of times you may want to throw in a towel.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm here to tell you that today is not the day for you to throw in a towel, because there's so much for you to learn while you're here on this earth.
Exactly.
Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's difficult, but you got to push through it.
Yep.
And one of the reasons you really want to try to push through it, which is something me and Leasha had a conversation about a few days ago, is that if you don't learn the lesson now, you're going to learn it later.
It's going to come back. So don't throw it a towel. Keep it because you're going to need it to wipe that sweat off.
Yes.
Because, you don't want to have sweaty palms. Somebody said, do you think the world is changing with you in terms of vibration? Yes.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's only because your outer world is only an expression of what's going on in the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So if your outer world seems to be chaotic, then you want to take a step back and look at your inner world.
Yes.
If your outer world seems to be a lot calmer, everything is kind of in alignment, then that would be an indication of what's really going on in the inside, your spirit, your soul.
Yes.
So that absolutely, yes, that is
Yes.
correct.
I think I saw something else that somebody wrote.
Hi, Tiola. Yes, yes. Keep pushing. We all superstars.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing with
Jan, you're right. You're
yeah.
right about that. Do you think you can also be co-independent with you? Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely
Yeah.
co-independent, and
Absolutely.
that's actually the goal, because funny story. Well, I don't know if it's funny or not, but
I'm gonna laugh anyhow.
but Leasha had met this older lady that was with her husband. I think from like when they were high school all the way up until her husband passed
Oh
away.
yeah, on the phone.
Right,
Yeah. Hmm.
and she was talking about how she didn't know what to do with herself now because her husband had passed, and she had become so dependent on her husband to doing everything that she had no clue of what to do.
Yes.
And that's not a place that you really want to be in. Like, I don't want Leasha to be dependent on me for everything that she needs to do, and vice versa. I don't want to depend on her for things when I know that I can do it for myself.
Yeah. A healthy
Hmm.
relationship, it's two wholes coming together, not a half and a half.
No.
It's two individuals coming together.
Hmm.
And when you have something like that, you have a bomb team.
Yeah.
Because let's say I'm just going to use a real life example. Kris is really good at video editing and all that other kind of stuff that has to do with a lot of detailing, which would drive me insane. And we
Hmm.
already know this. I could create stuff, like I come up with a lot of ideas. So by me coming up with a lot of ideas, really good ideas,
Hmm.
Kris is able to actually, you know, bring it in and kind of like fine tune it. So as a team, we kind of work really well. But I still maintain like who I am, my individuality. Thank you, Jan.
What does that say? The last one.
Why is the world obsessed with end of world theories? It's so many. It's that's the whole.
Well, well, to be honest with you, um, to answer your question on that, you're really going to have to dive deep and do some research.
In astrology, and then you
Yes.
realize that there were many endings and many beginnings, because when they talk of the end of times or the end of the world, they're not talking about in a physical sense, like the
Mm-mm.
planet is going to stop spinning and every. It's really talking about a new age, like
Yes.
to talk about the age of Pisces. That's considered a new world, or the
Right.
end and the beginning. The age of Aquarius, age of Pisces, and that's why you have different times. If you look back in history, you'll see that in that age they had the ram, and
Moses.
right, and exactly, and then another age of Jesus, quote
The
unquote,
fish.
the fish. That's the age of the fish, and then we're coming into the age of Aquarius, so
Yes.
which is the information age. So when they talk of age, they're really talking of the equinox. So you're gonna
Hmm.
have to study a lot more about
Yeah.
astrology and
And
to find out more about the age.
yeah. And see, that's the thing, because so many people. Okay, if you ever were in school, and you had that game where you had like a line of 10 people. One person says a sentence or a phrase, and then they pass it down. By the time it gets down to that last person, what was originally said has been chopped up and screwed, and it's not the same thing that somebody said in the beginning.
Whole nother story.
So when they talking about the end of the world, they're talking about ages in astrology.
Hmm.
Definitely dive deep into astrology. Dive deep into history before they told you when history started.
Because history, guys, like we talked about in the previous video, his you have to look at words. His story. It's his story.
Hmm.
History belongs to the author. The one who won the war gets to write the story. So history. So you have to be more focused on the mystery, which is my story.
Hmm.
My story, mystery. So, and that's man, know thyself, getting to know yourself.
Hmm.
And once you start diving into yourself, then you're going to start understanding how everything aligns and it comes together to serve your greater good.
Right. Etymology.
Etymology, guys, study
If
words.
so,
Yes, right now we're in the age of Aquarius.
study the stars, study etymology, and study history, because once again things get misconstrued through people.
Yeah.
Okay, and once again, once you look at etymology, you find out that words back in the day don't mean the same thing that it did today.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like,
Oh, wasp.
like for example, the word nice. If you look up the word nice in etymology, it actually meant that
Foolish.
you were foolish.
Ignorant.
It's like, oh, you're so nice.
You're so
It's like
nice.
you're saying you're so stupid.
Naive. Yeah. Nice, naive. That's what
So,
nice really means.
Yeah, and so in knowing that, I try to actually not use that word so much with people, because now I understand the meaning of it.
Cherub say, but
Yeah.
I mean the destruction. That's getting into the whole destruction and the whole revelation. It's meant to be read like not like in the actual sense, like the physical destruction. You have to really study to really understand.
And actually, wow, the destruction part is more of a control tactic.
Mm-hmm. Fear.
Once again, like as I stated before, Leasha and I are not religious.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, we actually don't claim any religious denomination.
Right.
Because if you look back into the history of religion, you'll understand that it's just a control tactic to get
divide and conquer, separation.
To divide and conquer. And the fear that they put into it is to keep people in the religious loop, so that they don't come out of it and they maintain control over them.
Yep.
So the whole end of world thing, saying that you got to go and get your soul saved, and you got to pay penance, or you got to say so many prayers, you got to do all this stuff to save your soul.
Back in the day, they had what, purgatory?
Yeah,
where you could actually pay, like if your uncle died, the Catholics had this thing, if your uncle or aunt died or family member died, you can actually go to the church and pay the Pope or whoever, and let's say if you want to take 4 years out of their purgatory, whatever, you know, when you're stuck between life and death, you pay $100, $200, whatever the price is, and they'll take some years off of them being there so they can get to heaven. Like,
no, it's all fear tactics.
Yeah.
It's all fear tactics to keep you within the system so that they can control you. So that's a whole nother thing. Once again, Leasha and I have been diving deep for quite some time now, and actually digging to find the truth in a lot of different things. And we definitely encourage you to do your research as well, because don't take our word for it.
Do your own research.
Y'all may think that we're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Right, and that's okay.
You know.
That's fine. Do your own research. Get your own truth.
Yeah, because the truth cannot be told. It can only be realized.
You have to realize it. Gotta run. All right, sweetie.
Oh, yeah,
have a good day. Thank you for tuning in.
And there was something else. To go back to, and I believe there was a question about... do you feel equally connected to other people, like a group of friends? And yes, and those people that we feel connected to would be considered our soul family. Because everybody has their soul family, their cluster that they incarnated with, that you are connected to. Because there are so many friends, for example, my friend Edward, like, he could be all the way out in Michigan or in Alabama or in Atlanta. Like, I still feel connected to him. That's one of my best friends, and I can see when things are going on with him and when he may need some assistance. Of course, Leasha and I are very connected, and we are super connected to our kids. Anything that's going on with them, and I mean that both ways. If there's something going on with Leasha's kids, I feel it. If there's something going on with my son, she feels it as well, because we are all connected. And to be honest, of course, we're all connected, but for our immediate family, for our soul family, there's a more intense connection to where we can actually connect with one another. So yes, that is definitely possible.
Can we answer this one? Do you believe in Venus signs? Tiola had a question.
My twin flame is an Aquarius, not a good match. Okay. There are two sides to that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as basing your twin flame off of your zodiac signs. Um, if you want to get an accurate description of whether or not the person that you're involved with is your twin flame, is best to have your natal charts looked at by someone who's experienced in astrology, because they can go through and they can dissect it and they can give you a more in-depth insight as to what's going on with your natal chart and whether or not you all are compatible or if you're a twin flame.
Right.
Now, the other thing is that when it comes to your twin flame, nobody can really tell you who your twin flame is. Because when it comes to your twin flame, and we've said this in previous videos before, when you find your twin flame, you'll know it. It's not like a feeling that you're attracted to somebody, or that you think somebody looks good and they look good on paper and stuff like that. You okay, baby?
I rebuked that lizard. What is it doing here?
Oh my gosh, she afraid of these lizards, y'all. Okay, but when it comes to your twin flame, there is just an attraction. There's a pulling that you want to be near them, and it feels like you're at home. You're at peace when you're with this person. Like, you don't even have to have sex with them. So many people are talking about they're so sexually attracted to their twin flame, and that's all that they want to talk about is the sex part. That's probably not your twin flame. More than likely it's a soulmate or something else. But when it comes to your twin flame, there is a undeniable attraction that pulls you closer to them, and only you can know that. Nobody else can know that, because nobody else can feel what you feel. They can look into the future, read your chart, all that other stuff, but they don't know what you feel.
Right. And she had a question about can somebody else from the same soul group tell you if it's your twin flame? They could make a good guess.
And it would be a guess.
It would be a guess.
Only
However,
you would know.
But that definitive answer lays with you, because your twin is you. Your twin is you. So who knows yourself better than you?
And if you don't know who you are, then that will be a part of the reason why you haven't connected with your twin, because you have to know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else can tell you who you are.
Man, know thyself.
You can go to your psychiatrist, you can go to your therapist, you can go to a tarot card reader, you can go to a psychic medium. Now, unless that psychic medium has the ability to channel your higher self,
with your permission, of course.
with your permission, of course, they can do that. And to be honest, you got to be leery of that, because some people are taking advantage of people doing these readings and stuff and charging them $2,000-$3,000 for something, when in a sense, only thing you got to do is really meditate, and you can get that answer yourself.
And they said, isn't the twin also part of the other soul member? Well, your twin is you.
I don't know how more plain to say that your twin is you. You have to, and okay, now this is the feeling that I'm getting, and Z, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, there's something that you're running from yourself, and when you're running from yourself, your twin is going to run from you, because once again, your twin is you.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the time for you to really just stop and take a pause and take stock in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a disconnect between I and I, you and your higher self. You have to examine that and really take a step back and ask yourself, what are you running from? What are you running from? What void are you trying to fill? Because outside of you, nobody else can fill the void that you have. Because when Leasha and I, before Leasha and I got together, I had a huge void that I was constantly trying to fill with other relationships, with keeping busy and stuff like that. But the void was always there, and I didn't pay attention to it. And it didn't fill up until, once again, I went through Dark Night of the Soul. If y'all know my story, I went through that back in October, November. And I got to the point where it dawned on me that I wasn't loving myself. I wasn't appreciating everything about myself, the good side and the bad side. Once I was able to do that, then I was able to become whole. That void was filled, and there was no need for anybody else to come along and fill that for me. And then it got to the point where now I'm whole, I'm happy. I was like, I'd like to have somebody to share this with.
Okay. Bellum said, "Do you have any idea how to figure out the reason I've been seeing tons of angel numbers?"
Tons of angel numbers. Um, One of the reasons that excuse me, there are many different reasons why you can be seeing angel numbers. If you Google the angel numbers, it'll give you an understanding of what that angel number is, like 411, 711, 911, stuff like that. If you Google those numbers, it'll come up with some variations of what those numbers mean. Now, whichever one resonates with you, that's the one that you go with, and you have to stop and examine what is it that my angels are trying to get me to pay attention to. Now, the other side of that is that when you're seeing these repeating numbers, these angel numbers, they're actually activations for your higher self, for your higher soul. So you want to really get connected with that to, I don't know where she went, y'all. It's just me and y'all. What's up? What's up? But when you see those numbers, it's really important to pay attention to what's going on in your life in that particular situation. A lot of times, if you're thinking about something, thinking about making a move in a particular way, when you see those repeating numbers and those angel numbers, it's actually a confirmation of whatever you're thinking. So that's one thing to definitely pay attention to. Let me make sure we didn't miss anything else. But yeah, definitely. I just stopped running from my twin. I used to be very codependent. Okay, Mala, it's awesome that you actually stopped running from your twin. Let's see, very codependent relationship. I feel intense soul connection, but I should be very cautious not to fall back. Yes, Mala, you're definitely right, and that's actually a part of the lessons that you learned about not falling into old patterns, because you knew that pattern is not serving you. So if you see a pattern coming around that, oh, I've seen this play before, or I've seen this story before, and I don't want it in my life, then you can stop it before it even starts. So that's awesome. That's why we go through situations in our life to stop these patterns. That's the whole thing for it. You okay, babe?
I'm great. I just want to go get some water.
Okay. So, and so what does it feel like being with your twin right now, physically speaking? I'm gonna let you answer that question.
I was wondering when I was gonna get a chance to talk.
I'm sorry. It just hit me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was wondering. Okay. So, what does it feel like? It feels good. It feels. It's. I don't want to say a completion because I was completed by myself, but it feels like I'm in alignment. It feels like my soul is in alignment. Um, Plus, my gifts or our gifts that we have, our spiritual gifts, has definitely heightened.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Definitely.
absolutely, like 100% heightened. Um, it's beautiful. It's just love. It feels like unconditional love because I can look at Kris and I know he can look at me because I have faults and he has faults and yes I do. And he can look at me and just, in my moments when I feel like trying to work on my faults and kind of feeling a little down because I am human, he actually embraces my faults and love my faults. So that in itself is it's different and it's new and it feels wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And Kris has OCD. And I tease him about his OCD all the time, but I love it. and I look at his OCD and I embrace it, and I am in love with his OCD.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, it feels good to have a love that's unconditional, and to know that you have things that you want to work on, but the other person embraces it anyway and loves it unconditionally. So it feels
Yeah.
amazing in the physical form, that is. Because outside of the 3D, outside of the physical, we are unconditional love. We're just here for this experience to get to know the not love side of things. You know, getting bored of just having love, 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 love. We want to know what else is next. Let me experience the
Yeah.
contrast. So I'm glad that I have this opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
experience this lifetime with Kris, and I'm sure he feels the same way.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like this, like I was telling one of the kids the other day, this is the best part of my life that I've experienced in my entire adulthood. I'm 36 years old. In a few months, I'm gonna be 37, and this is the best part of my life that I've ever experienced, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Ah, that's a good question. She said, do we ever feel like other spirits or other people come between us? They try.
Oh yeah, they try.
They try. They try. Trust me, they try. But guess what?
That's why we have these protection
Come on,
stones.
baby.
We meditate.
They
We
try.
watch our diet.
Yep.
It's to the point that
Yep.
like instead of trying to come to us, they try to come to people that's around us, and we
Mhm.
recognize it,
Yep.
and we curve it real quick.
Yep. And that's the beauty about being in connection with your higher self, with your guides and your angels, being in touch with the collective consciousness.
Hmm.
You just know things.
Yeah.
You already know, so you act accordingly. Once you know, you can act accordingly. That's what it is about being on a higher level of consciousness. Consciousness means awareness.
Hmm.
So, take for instance, if you see a ball coming at you, right?
Hmm.
You can see the ball. Are you gonna dodge, or are you gonna just let it hit you in your face? So that's kind of like what it is. We just dodge it real quick,
Yeah.
and then we
We
look at
see it
it, and
coming like
then
the
we
Matrix,
laugh.
like,
Yeah, like see them, the Mr. Smith agents. That's what we call them,
oh yeah, they out there.
and we just kind of like dodge them bullets. So yeah, yeah, we get it.
Hmm.
Okay, what's the next question? Have you? Mm, well, I wouldn't say evil spirit attacks, but it's malicious energies that's out there.
Yeah. And okay, you mind if I cover
Go,
this real quick?
baby, do your thing. Your
Okay.
throat chakra is overactive, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you be.
Okay. I'm gonna break this down for you because this is something that happened during my marriage. I don't know. It's partly the reason why it failed. Well, actually, it may succeeded. It depends on how you look at it,
Hmm.
because it did cause me to grow. But during the time that I was married, probably middle of the marriage, I got into a real deep depression,
Mm.
right? And for whatever reason, it always felt like it was outside of me. And when when I used to have dreams, I used to always have dreams of demons trying to attack me or
Wow.
come to me and things of that nature. So when I look back on it now, yes, I was under some type of evil attack.
Wow.
And the reason why it was so easy for them to attack me at that point in time was because my vibration was like super low.
Oh, that makes it easy for them to attack you.
Yeah, it's like super low. So if you if you feel like there is some type of demonic attack or evil attack that's coming up on you,
Watch your vibration.
yeah, that is a sign that your vibrations are low.
Hmm.
Now, what happens is, I don't know if you've all ever watched A Wrinkle in Time, right?
Oh, that's a perfect example.
Perfect example. There was a point where, towards the end, where the women that were helping the children, they got into the dark space. I forgot the name of it,
Hmm.
but the women that were helping the children, they helped them get over to the dark side. But while they were there, It was like
they were vanishing.
Yeah, they were vanishing. It was like we can't stay here too long because we vibrate too high and we can't stay here. So think about that. These women were vibrating so high that they couldn't stay in near an evil entity.
Because it wasn't a vibrational match.
Right.
Yeah.
So the only way that anything evil can attach to you is if you're a vibrational match to it.
You have to match, and that's why fear, like, guys, I'm sorry about the etymology, because the atmosphere, right? Atmosphere, atmosphere. That's why they pump so much stuff on the media and the news, because if you can vibrate on the level of fear, then that's a very low vibration, and it's easy for any entity to attach to you, because fear is a very, very, very low vibration. Yeah, the coffee, sorry. Got water.
Yeah. So that's a good way to keep evil stuff away from you, is lifting your vibrations. Now, what is this question? What ways are there to contact your higher self, and do twin flames have the same higher self?
Okay, so to answer the question of how do you contact your higher self, it has to be something that you do consciously, which means that you would have to, it would benefit you, I would say, because everybody do it differently, especially once you get to a certain level of awareness. You don't even have to go into meditation anymore. But if you're just starting out, you might want to practice like a routine of a daily meditation. Before you go to sleep at night, you can consciously let your higher self know. If you have a question for your higher self, you can, before you lay down, you can ask your higher self to come and visit you in your dream, bring your answer to you. If you want to meet with them, let them know before you go to sleep. Because when you go to sleep, you're in that brainwave state. You're not like fully awake. So that's a perfect time for you to connect with your higher self.
Yes.
If you want to, you can do meditation. You can get into yoga practices, because your higher self is just right here in the physical. You're an expression of yourself. Like your soul it's like the sun. You know how the sun has different rays. So you're the sun, and so being here in this experience is like a ray of the sun. So you're an expression of your higher self. So when you're ready to connect with your higher self, you just have to get in alignment with yourself.
Yes.
And you can do little things, like if you just starting out, do little small things like the dream state, practice meditation, and just kind of like be more in the present. Be more in the present moment. Because sometimes, we like to live in the future, we like to live in the past, and that's what causes anxiety. When you have a lot of anxiety, you're probably living in the future. When you're having a lot of depression, you're probably doing a lot of should have, could have.
Shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
Shoulda, coulda, wouldas. That causes depression. Now, when you live in the present moment, the present is called a present because it's a gift. That's where you can really make change, is in the present and now. So that's the best, and that's why meditation is so important, because it allows you to just focus on your breath and be present in the now. And that's the best time to connect with your higher self, is being in the now, being present, being in that awareness phase.
Yes.
Being in the oneness.
Yeah. So that's going to be the best way to connect to your higher self. And to answer the last part of that question, in our belief, everyone has their own separate higher self, or their higher self that they answer to.
And yes, they do. Your twin flame, you do have, I would say that you do have a separate higher self, because if you guys ever know about like soul plans, that's something that you might want to dive into, especially if you're running into difficult times in your life and you're wondering, I'm such a good person, why am I experiencing all these bad things? Why do people always treat me this way? You might want to look up what are soul plans, because before we incarnate into this world, we all come here to learn something. Everybody is here to learn something, for your soul growth, for your soul development. Some people are here for clearing karmic paths or whatever have you. So it all depends on what your soul plan is. So your higher self got together with your soul cluster. You all meet before you come here, and you discuss what experiences that you want to have, so that you can get a certain lesson from a certain experience.
Yes.
So the experiences that you're having, your perspective once you change your perspective to understand that, you know, hey, maybe this is something that I picked so I could go through so I can develop spiritually, I can grow.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I needed this experience, I can clear this karmic path or whatever have you. But it all depends on you. What's your soul plan? Why are you here? And I
Mm-hmm.
think the more that we start to question ourselves and ask ourselves, why am I here? Um, you're going to start getting answers because now, you know, words of vibration, you're sending that out into the universe. So it's going to deliver.
Yep.
And you're going to start getting answers. You might run into somebody that might trigger something. But it all starts with the awareness. Like once you realize, hey, I'm here for a reason, then everything is going to start coming together because now you're searching, now you're asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Does the sex evolve over time?
No,
How?
hold on. I knew this question was coming. Okay, and believe me, I'm gonna feel free to jump on this one. Um, before I answer
I
your
cannot
question,
today. I'm not doing this today.
before I answer that question, I'm gonna touch on one thing. Think about it this way. Once again, your twin flame is you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if you think about it, if you're to the point where you're really loving yourself, you can actually get to the point where you please yourself better than anybody else can.
Mm-mm.
Okay? So, if you can please yourself better than anybody else can, and you meet your twin who is you, can you just imagine how intensified the pleasure would be in being with your twin flame? Now I know this is the goal for a lot of people, what
I
they are
know
searching
they
for.
can't wait.
And I'm gonna be completely transparent with y'all. It is fucking awesome.
Oh, did you use the F word too?
I mean, that's the only thing um that can really define it what it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's right.
oh,
He's right.
and
It's a bomb.com.
yeah, and to be honest, yeah, I'm not gonna say how many times,
Oh, that
but
you can't count.
Jesus.
Well, you wanted to go there. You wanted to take it there, so I'm joining you.
Oh man, but
They
yeah,
opened the door, so I walked through.
we're gonna walk right on in that thing. But yeah,
Y'all opened the door. Okay, that was y'all. That was all you.
yeah, but yeah. So the rumors are true. They're not rumors. They're facts.
It's facts, guys.
It's just facts.
Facts.
Sex with your true twin flame is out of this freaking
It
world.
will make you leave your day job, 9 to 5, try to figure out something else. Like this isn't it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
believe me, because being with your twin flame,
It's a gift. It's a
Yeah.
gift. It's mind blowing. The only way that I could somebody say straight facts. She know how much time? Are you kidding me?
if my skin wasn't brown, I would be blushing right now.
How much times per week? Man,
But,
listen,
yeah,
every day, all day,
Every chance we get,
every chance.
every chance.
It's amazing. Every time we're not
Mhm.
doing these videos, we busy. I'm playing.
Oh boy.
Not really, but yeah.
Yeah, because I gotta keep in mind we got kids to take
Right,
care of and all this
but
other
if we
stuff.
didn't have kids, it would have been a
Ooh,
whole
boy.
nother story.
I don't think we'll have a YouTube channel right
we
now.
probably won't. We'd be too busy.
What was the
They so crazy. Let
Oh,
me see.
Lord
Somebody
have
said
mercy.
something here. I was driving to work, listening to you beautiful souls. Now I'm here. Oh, thank you so much, Eleni. You have a beautiful day. We love you. Love and light, sweetie. Do you believe that all twins has to come to union, have a family, etc.? I know my twin 6 years already and still don't wish to be in union and strongly feel that it is not going to change ever. That's perfect. That's a
Yeah.
perfect example. So no, it depends. Like again, before we incarnate here, we make these contracts, and now they're not set in stone, but they're for your soul growth. And if you and your twin were not meant to be in a relationship in this lifetime, it's not going to happen unless you decide to change it. But you can't because you have free will.
There you go.
But it's not definitive. Like you have to be in union, you have to have kids. It depends on what you're here to do in this particular lifetime with your twin.
Yeah. You hit it right on the head.
So if you're not here for family and stuff like that, maybe you're just here to start up a nonprofit together. Maybe you're just here to help save animals. Maybe you're just coming here to help the other one grow, or whatever you're here for. You're gonna fulfill that calling unless you choose free will and you choose to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not mean that you will end up in a marriage or a relationship, etc.
Yep. And we're getting close to our hour, so we don't want to go too far over on this one. But there's one thing that we wanted to, I wanted to leave you with. I hope Leasha agrees with me on this. But one thing that we wanted to leave with you is there was a video that we saw recently on YouTube. And if y'all are in some of our Facebook groups, like Leasha's Spiritual Awakening, or if you're on the Unconditional Self-Love Twin Flame Facebook group, there was a video that we posted of this gentleman who said that he has the answer to all questions as far as to like,
yeah,
why did we incarnate on earth?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I experience all of this pain? And help me out if I'm wrong on this, baby. But what he said was that everything is perfect as it is.
He said, what if?
Yeah, what if?
He was doing what if. What if everything is perfect the way that it is?
Mm-hmm.
What if?
Yeah.
What if the imbalance of the 1% versus the 99% is supposed to be this way? Mm-hmm. Because being the part of the 99% or being in poverty or whatever have you will expose you to such spiritual growth.
Yes.
Thinking, just saying what if you were rich or if you were wealthy or if you have everything that you physically need, would you have been exposed to the same amount of spiritual growth that you would have being on the other side of the spectrum? And it made a lot of sense.
Yeah. And yeah, it made a lot of sense because, and especially when I look back over my life, if everything was roses for me,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be in front of this camera right now talking to you all. I wouldn't be where I am spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, the gifts that I have now are way better than any monetary size that I could ever receive. Because the money, the small little squares that everybody's fighting for, I can't take that with me to the next realm.
Really
it's useless.
Can't. You can't.
It's
and
useless.
And that's another thing I think we do. We focus so much on the physical side of things. We actually forget what we take with us everywhere we go. Everywhere you forget your soul. You don't nurture your soul. You know, it's easy to try to build a lot of wealth, have a lot of houses, have this, have that. But the one thing that we take with us in every lifetime, which is our spirit, which is our soul,
Yes.
we feed it so little. And I think that's what he was pretty much trying to say.
Yeah.
By not being a part of the 1%, being a part of the 99%, maybe that's an opportunity for you to go within and feed your soul and let it grow. And maybe it's perfect that way. He was just saying, what if?
Yeah, what if? So that's our time for today, y'all. We definitely appreciate everybody that chimed in. Okay. Okay. Last thing. Last thing. Now this is for the ladies, okay? Leasha has been coming up with her own version for her Yoni Cleanse. If y'all know about Yoni Cleanses, that's something for the lady parts to keep everything nice and clean and fresh and tight down there too.
Well, you testify. You're the testifier.
I mean, that's part of the reason the sex so awesome. So, so for the ladies out there, probably later on today, we're actually going to be posting a video of the Yoni Cleanse, the Goddess Yoni Cleanse.
And the benefits.
Yes, and the benefits and how to use it. And it's actually going to be available for purchase on our Third Eye Apparel website later today. Yep. So definitely, once again, if you haven't subscribed, and if you're watching this long, you need to subscribe. You're on here for a whole hour with us. You need to subscribe.
Go and subscribe. Become a part of our family.
And get the notifications on, because as soon as that video is posted, you'll be able to see the creation that Leasha put together and then you'll be able to see my creative side when it comes to putting together commercials and dropping
yeah.
balls on them things. But
You so
yeah,
silly.
definitely keep your eye out for that. We will be posting that later today. And yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And definitely
Yep.
thank you for everybody who's been on the website purchasing shirts, purchasing jewelry.
Oh,
We thank y'all
Jesse.
so much.
Thank you guys so much, Maya. Thank you so much. Love you guys.
Yes. So yeah, definitely
Thank
Jazzy,
you,
yeah,
Jesse.
keep your eye out for that video. It's gonna be posted later today for Leasha's Goddess Yoni Cleanse.
Yep.
And believe me, it's special. It's not none like any other out there.
No, and it works.
Nothing.
It really, really works. Like, I love my Yoni Cleanse. I must, like, I do it like twice a month, and it is amazing. You ain't got no kind of behavior.
I ain't got no behavior today. But, all right, we're out, y'all. We love y'all.
Love
we thank y'all
y'all.
so much. Twin Flames Unite.
Peace.
Peace.